Hi BTM, my name is 𝗟𝗡𝗏 and I'm 9 years old.
My name is Emma J and I am 9.
Hi, I'm Milo and I'm 12 years old.
My name is Layla Merrill, I'm 15 years old and I go to Maui Prep.
On August 8th, there was a hurricane and a wildfire.
During the hurricane, we had no power. It was really strong wind, so we thought once the hurricane would pass, the power would come back on, and we heard that there were a few fires, like just small ones, but that they had been contained on the day of the hurricane. So we were just so bored with no power. We had decided to go on a golf cart ride with my family just to pass the time, and that's when we saw black smoke.
The sky was gray and then some parts were getting covered by smoke, but there was no sun. It looked like it was nighttime. It was the middle of the day.
When we realized there was a fire, my mom was like, we need to evacuate right now, because we could see the big smoke coming to us. So then we packed we didn't pack everything, but we packed a tiny little bit.
We didn't have much time. We had 5-10 minutes. So we all thought we were going to be able to come back, so we all packed overnight clothes and stuff like that. But we grabbed our animals. Everyone got out alive, thankfully. But yeah, a lot of our prized possessions were still in that house, and we didn't get to take all of it. So
we didn't know where it was or how big it was or any information. We knew nothing. We knew there was a fire and that was it. So throughout the night, my dad, he would check just to make sure it wasn't coming closer to us, just because we had no information, and even if it was coming, no one would tell us to evacuate. So everyone was basically on their own, trying to make the best decisions for themselves, and it made it harder with no power, and we were just in the dark trying to figure out what was going on.
At about 10:30, we had to evacuate because we saw the fire was coming up. So we evacuated to the other side and we slept in the Safeway parking lot.
we were just blessed to get to the other side safe. We could see 5 cars behind us. The cars were getting devoured by the smoke, and we just barely made it out. I felt really sad because all my memories from preschool, stuff like that, it was all in the house. So my mom said everything could be replaced, but not everything could be replaced.
The people who didn't lose their homes still needed help because the roads were closed and all the stores were closed because there was no power and people couldn't get to work. There's no gas. So everyone on the west side of the island, there's only one road in and out. So one way that people in the community found a solution was flying in planes from the other side of the island to bring in diapers, toilet paper, food, water, clothes, all that stuff for people in need.
After the fires, I went to 𝗥𝗏𝗏 Airport where they were delivering food and baby stuff and paper towels and toilet paper, and I went and helped them deliver that. People needed those supplies because they could have lost their house, or they didn't have cars, and they had newborn babies and a bunch of stuff, all their baby clothes and formula was gone.
My mom started a GoFundMe on Facebook. Everyone's been donating to us. Friends, family, random people have been donating us. People have been helping us find a house, and one of my dad's friends has been letting us stay there for a while until we find our own place. I am very excited to come back to school because I just need to get my mind off things in the fire.
I'm going back to school, and it's the only school on the west side that's opening, and I feel grateful that I have this opportunity, but at the same time, I want all these other kids to be able to come to school and have some normalcy.
I'm excited to go back to school to see all my friends and ask how they're doing and like meet new people. School is important because you need to like learn how to do it, learn how to do like math and like science, and you need to like learn that to move on.
I think it's gonna slowly get built back up, but I don't think it's gonna happen really fast because people are still gonna try to like rebuild, like get the power lines back up, and those materials to rebuild that stuff are not really easy to get, I feel like. So I think it's just gonna take a little bit.
The community is helping each other so much because here on the island, we're all just such a close-knit family, and there's just an aloha spirit.
The kind of people that live here are like nice, kind people.
We can help each other by like giving them supplies they need, or like letting them stay at your house for like a couple of nights, or like to like ask them like if we need to say like a prayer for them.
When you see someone in need, you want to help them because if you were in need, you would want someone else to help you too.